Some of the technology trends that we see impacting IT organizations today, and this is kind of going to throw us right into why we're talking about Service Core. That first one, integrated device and service management. So a lot of times what you'll see, companies will use one tool to do their service desk or the ITSM realm of the house, and they may have other tools that they're using to do the systems management or the device management. And so there's a trend now to consolidate those two. So that's one trend we're seeing. Another trend that we are seeing out in the environment is doing things on-premise or doing them in the cloud. And as we're talking about BMC products today, you may be well aware that they have several ITSM products. So there's one that, yes, is very much SaaS aware, and then there are other solutions that they make for on-prem. Service Core is one of those. The next one, IT infrastructure simplification and vendor consolidation. So that kind of goes in line with bullet number one, not having multiple vendors assisting me with my service desk needs, with my device management needs. I'm really now starting to consolidate on one vendor. And so that's where there's a couple more bullets there, but as I go forward, that's kind of where people then start to look at BMC as a company. And so with respect to BMC, you can see there, and then it's across their portfolio, in the neighborhood, 20,000 customers, 40,000 community members. And what that community members site is, for a given solution, there are other people just like you running that software. They're putting their ideas there, to speak back to product management. They're putting solutions there as well, but it becomes a community that you can tap on if you have questions about something in that particular product. So a very active community with respect to the BMC products. And then, of course, it's recognized as a leader in the ITSM market. There below, just the different verticals utilizing the ITSM platforms, or the BMC ITSM platform. So wide stretching there. So why Service Core? So the first reason is the user experience. It's very intuitive. You'll notice here we've got the mobile devices. So as technology has progressed on, people are very mobile aware. Service Core can be run on those mobile devices. Very easy to configure. I'll do just a couple of manipulations, but that, again, in helping or providing a intuitive user experience, being able to configure that very quickly is one of the differentiators as well. When we talk about the easy to configure, one of the things that you will be able to manipulate with Service Core is your end-user portal. And this ends up being their experience. So what do you want their experience to be? Sometimes you may see more, and I call it a minimalist console, but it's very thin line, if you will. There's not a lot of data points going on for that screen, but it's just really allowing them to just really quickly interface with the service desk. Or if it's a different group that they need to interface with, really making it trim, if you will, on that portal about what they need to do. And then you may have other users in your environment that are more apt with all the different buttons that you're going to put on the screen. So being able to tailor and customize that end-user experience is something that you'll readily have available in Service Core, and again, very easy to configure that. Second one here talks about the visual workflow process automation. And so what we're doing there is allowing you to very easily see, for example, if I need to perform a normal change or a standard change in my environment, what does that workflow process look like? So inside of Service Core, you'll be able to graphically see, well, first we're going to, let's say, receive that change. We're going to go into a specific status. We need these approvals. I'll be able to graphically see that through that visual workflow process automation. The dragging and dropping of the administrative tools. And one of the key benefits here is your technicians don't have to learn a different programming language. It's simply dragging and dropping, and that is making the adjustments on the forms that you're then presenting to your end users. So it's going to help you be more nimble, more easily able to manipulate the forms and get them in front of your end users. And then finally, what you see is what you get. with respect to the analytics. So we'll go into some of the reports that are available with Service Core. It is out of the box, very easy to create your own reports if what's being presented out of the box is not enough. Okay, so there on the left, minimal effort, maximum returns, kind of where we're leading. And just really quickly, a few features. So it is 100% browser-based, no client-side software required. So essentially, they just need to open a browser on their endpoint, and they'll have access to that FootPrints console, that end-user console or self-service. The customizable user interface. So I've talked about this a bit, but again, I'm going to show you how easy it is to customize that to your particular needs. The Service Core has gone through pink verification. So version 2 as well as version 3, some of the processes that are available with Service Core verified for you. With respect to data integration, that would be connecting to your directory source, bringing in those end users, and then assigning them to a certain or a specific portal. So again, streamlining that. So your users today are in a directory. We're just connecting to that directory and then giving them access to Service Core. All right, the last one there, the multiple workspaces. And so what you'll see in my environment is really one, and I have a lot of items in that one workspace, but as we go outside of, let's say, the IT realm and we want to introduce different groups into the FootPrint Service Core application, it's very easy to create their own workspace and have it specific in the role or the security, if you will, maintained tightly to that group of users. Okay, so with that, let's go into a demonstration. And I'm going to start in my user console. Actually, before I do that, one thing, because I noticed that we had a few people that were 11, I'll say .x customers. And so what you will be able to do is run a migration advisor, and it's just really kind of a footprint as you're moving from 11.6 up to 12, the steps that you need to take, what things are going to come across, what items are not going to come across. 9 times out of 10, we're going to recommend you stand up a new 12 environment, leave that 11x environment running for your historical purposes, but then again, getting everyone shifted, if you will, to FootPrint Service Core 12. Now, if you need to bring that data over and you need us to create that archive workspace, we can do that. But again, 9 times out of 10, standing up a new one and just referring back to the old one. But in this, you'll be able to see quickly issues found with the migration of the instance, known issues for all the migrations. Again, those things that are going to go across and those things that aren't expected to go across. Okay, so having said that, we'll head back to my end user portal. And again, this is some of that experience we talk about. And again, I'm calling this the Minimalist Console. And what I'm showing them are just a few buttons here at the top. Again, very easy to remove those, but you can put on those buttons the language that they're used to. So I was talking to one account, and they basically allow everything to go into the service desk, and then they start to assign it out from there. And in that situation or in that use case, I would really only need one button here, and maybe it's submit a ticket. What I'm showing here is the ability to go off, let's say, to another application. Dick alluded to this before. He mentioned Atlassian for DevOps. So if that's a solution that you have in your environment, it's very easy to add that link onto your user's portal so they basically have one interface to do everything that they need. The second button here is I am saying, well, I have a building issue. And again, depending on how you've educated your end users, they may know I'm coming in, I have a building issue, I'll go ahead and click this. But what this would be doing is now looking at, and I'm going to pull down this template button. So the nice thing with the templates is I can choose this and it will populate all the relevant fields that are necessary for me to submit this issue. But when I'm saying building issue, it's only pulling up templates that have to do with, let's say, my facilities team. So I may say something like, my office is cold. So there it's put in the description, it's put in the facility's type. You'll notice that is a drop down, so there could be other options that were chosen. It's given it the description, and I'm just going to go ahead and say save and close. So there again, now this has gone off and it's routing to the appropriate group on the back end, which again is going to be my facilities team in this example. Now, it could be that, okay, I don't have a building issue, I have some other issue, so I'm just going to submit a ticket. And you'll notice that these templates now are significantly different. So these have everything to do with IT. So again, what you decide to put on that button is up to you. I'm going to go ahead and say when SCP, just really quickly, I'm having an issue with that, and then do the save and close. So the other realm that I'm showing for this particular console, so again, we're looking at this Minimalist, I've opted to show them the service request catalog. So they can peruse through here. So by way of an example, I can click into the new hardware services. I may go into this new mobile hardware and then choose an item from this view. I'm going to go back to the main screen. Or they can just type up in this front box. So I may say tablet here. And what this does is nest me all the way in. If I had multiple requests in my catalog that had the word tablet, they would appear here, and I would choose the one that was relevant. So here I'll just opt for this new tablet PC. I'm going to go ahead and request the service. And then what it's going to do is prompt me for the question. So you'll notice here my status has gone to pending approval. So one of the nice things, again, with service cores, you have that automation that's built in. So because I've said or because I'm requesting this tablet PC, it's automatically then kicking into a workflow that's going to require someone to approve this request. So here it's asking me tablet make. I'll say Apple iPad. Now it's asking me for the model. I'll say 64 gig. Do you want data service? I'll say yes. In my location, maybe AT&T is the better provider, so I'll say AT&T, and then go ahead and save this one as well. So again, with this specific end user experience, very customizable what you can show them. Now, if I switch this, for my particular account, I'm showing multiple consoles. In a real-world environment, you would typically only be showing them one, but I'm going to switch into a different console so you can see how that end user experience could change. And then again, depending on who that end user is, you may want to show them more data points or you may want to show them less. So I'm going to just go into the customer console, and you'll notice here I've switched their buttons a bit. They only have 3. I've given them the ability to go out to Google, but here I'm showing them all the issues that they have added or that they have submitted. So I can see the last 2 that we entered. They're appearing there for me. I'm also showing them the service request browser, so the service catalog I'm exposing to them. I did this as well for my Minimalist. I'm also showing them the knowledge base. So they can peruse through the knowledge base, potentially find their answer before submitting a ticket. Some people like to go the route where they're just showing them the knowledge base, and if that's something that I want to do, I'm just switching one more time to a different console. That's where they start. So they can't submit a ticket without first seeing if we have a knowledge article that has already been written for their issue. Then again, that's going to depend upon how granular or how much you've exposed to your knowledge base. It may be something that is very mature for you. It may be something that's immature. So really depending on the maturity of it is where you're going to start them or not. Okay. One other thing that you could potentially show, and I've got it minimized at the bottom of the screen, is this concept of widgets. So you can as well put in widgets, and this is just going to different URL sites, bringing back the data points there, or RSS feeds, allowing them to see additional data. But again, it's all kind of along that idea of what end-user experience do you want for your customers, and then tailoring this portal to fit that. All right. So at this point now I'm going to switch over into the technician's view so we can look at some of those issues that just came in.